Gone are the days when you can just build it and they will come. All right. You can't just create a Christmas production, a Christmas event, and rely on your people to go invite others. Not that your people won't go invite others, but that the others will do one thing before they come to your church. They will go online and they will search for you. So if you don't have an online presence that accurately reflects your church, creates an excellent, positive first impression, and gives them clear, not only information, but inspiration on why they should go to you, then you're setting yourself up for failure and you don't even realize it. In fact, not only that, let's take your congregation out of it and let's think about how people are planning their Christmas events. Okay. For me, which the way that we plan things, it's a little late for you, but that's okay because I'm going to give you a quick tip on how to reach the other people that aren't like us. For us, we already know our Christmas plans, and then anything else we do, we discover through means that we already check on a weekly or monthly basis. Meaning we have a little community newspaper that goes out quarterly. I read it. And there's an event section and things that look fun. I'll add to our family calendar as an option, something for us to do, craft day, trunk or treat, Christmas performance or whatever. We know our family travel plans, and then maybe I'll see a billboard and I'm like, oh, hey, I think we have that day free. Let me go check. For everyone else though, okay, which by the way, that shows the importance of planning ahead because you can't get in that stuff now. You got to have that stuff ready months in advance. All right. So that just preaches the importance of being ready ahead of time. Okay. If you want something you've never had before, like for example, a Christmas event where you've got more new faces than old faces, then you're going to have to do something you've never done before, like plan ahead. Okay. So the way people search for Christmas events now, if they don't already have something, okay, maybe they're looking for, maybe it's a mom looking for something to do with her kids while they're off and while she's off. Maybe it's a dad whose mom is coming into town and he knows that she'll really appreciate a family night out. We're going to look for something on Google. Okay. And when you do a Google search, if you haven't recognized lately, Google's gotten pretty smart. We already know how creepily smart it is. But if you haven't already, people will start at Google, and Google's gotten really good about pulling information from the web and just displaying it on the Google search result page. And if you plan ahead, even just a little bit right now, you have a chance of actually getting your events on that Google page. So I'm going to give you some of the quick hits, the top things that we like to do to get the events out into the community to bring people in. And for example, one thing that I'm going to share with you is a Facebook ad plan that we made that brought this is a small church, by the way, 150 people to the church campus for an event. And 77 of them were new faces that had no idea we were doing this. They just saw a Facebook ad and made a plan. Okay, so this stuff works. And let's actually start with that. Number one, to get your events out there, Facebook ads. Now, when I say Facebook ads, I haven't really done a deep dive. You can go back in the archive, right? We've got 51 episodes now, but you can go back and find certain episodes and certain YouTube clips of our Facebook ads talks. But when you do Facebook ads, I'm not talking about putting a post up and clicking boost. Okay. I'm talking about going into Facebook Ads Manager through your business account. And if you don't have this set up, again, you're trying to hit a baseball with a golf club. You're not properly equipped. Okay. You need to bring in someone or train up. And I'll tell you about how to train up later, on how to do this effectively. Because otherwise you're just throwing money down the drain. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're checking a box without actually intentionally wanting to see any results. Okay. But if you do, you can set up a Facebook ad. And the key is you don't just blast information out there. Okay. If you blast information out there on social media, it will be ignored like all the other information. Unless you're a copywriting pro or an expert designer, which by the way, the copy is what usually gets people to click on a Facebook ad, not the design. Churches and church leaders, for some reason, think it's reversed. Okay. It can be the design sometimes, but oftentimes it's the copy in cahoots with the design that get people to click. Okay. But provide inspiration. For example, I was making a video this morning and we were talking about a Christmas cantata. Okay. If you just go out in the community with a megaphone and say, hey, Christmas cantata at our church, December 16th at 6 p.m., the only people that are going to show up are people that are already about your church or maybe choir nerds. And a choir nerd probably wouldn't come anyways. 1 out of 100 might, but the other 99 won't come because they know what kind of Christmas concerts church choirs put on. Okay. But if you go out and actually promote it in a way that resonates with what people are dealing with, then they might actually pay attention enough to get the intention enough to take a next step with you and go to that cantata. So you have to take a step back, Pastor, and stop promoting what you're doing, but promote why you're doing it, and even go further and why someone should come. Will they feel refreshed? Will they experience nostalgia? Will they sing their favorite hymns? Will they take a step back into time? Will they have a family-friendly activity that they can bring their kids to? Right? There's so much that I'm afraid to take my kids to that I have plugged in, bookmarked on my phone to see what movies I should and shouldn't take or consider not taking my daughter to. Because I just don't know what's out there anymore. Something's promoted as family friendly and it ends up having things that I don't want for my daughter, even at 10 years old. So, people are very wary. So maybe that's something that you can lean into. Whatever it is, think about why someone would come and lean into that as your promotional tool. Okay. That could be a great hook. All right. This city needs more family friendly activities and we're doing something about it. I'm just spitballing here. We've got a fantastic Christmas production with milk and cookies for the kids where you'll sing your favorite songs and you can sing the same songs you grew up with your kids and grandkids. It's going to be a family night. Memories are going to be made and we'd love to have you. And by the way, we're going to have a raffle or something like that, right? Like it becomes less about the what and it becomes about not even the why, but the transformation. There's no good who, what, where, why, how. Okay. But the transformation, right? You're going to feel refreshed. You're going to feel happy. You're going to feel joyous. Bring joy back to the season. This is what I'm talking about. Anything we talk about promotion, it's always about the transformation. Okay. And Facebook ads are a great way to do that. Another option is Facebook groups. As a pastor, you should be in, and by the way, your church leaders as well should be in Facebook groups. And at this time, some families are going to be asking Christmas related questions. You may sift through 100 comments or 100 posts, but one of them is going to be a perfect one to invite someone to your services. Along the same lines, and this is where I'm going to ruffle some feathers, because I'm going to tell you, Pastor, you got to use social media. All right. This is not for you to consume, but this is for you to feed into. Okay. Our cup is supposed to overflow. That does not exclude social media. Pastor, you should be going into social media and you should be commenting on posts every day. Why? Even non-Christmas related posts, because here's why. People follow you on social media for a reason. Okay. And when you're not posting, they're not thinking about you. When they're not thinking about you, they're probably not thinking about church. When they're not thinking about church, they're probably not thinking about the things above. Okay. It's a weird world we live in, and I wish it wasn't the case. But Pastor, you got to be commenting to stay top of mind, and your church leaders too, because there may come a time when someone posts something like, hey, look at this cool thing we did as a family. And you post, oh, what a beautiful family. They're going to think, oh, Pastor, someone ever comment on your post and you're like, oh, I forgot about them. Or, oh, I'm glad they were thinking about me. Or it does mean a lot for them to comment, especially on not the post like we're pregnant and we have 1,333 comments. I'm talking about the ones where it's like, hey, I took this picture of my family. It's a day old and only has 2 likes and a comment, right? How much more meaningful is that comment to them? And when you do that, you show intentionality. When you show intentionality, they feel understood. They feel thought of. They think, well, the pastor's taking time to talk to me. You know what? We haven't been to church in a while. All right. You're opening up these paths. Okay, so even though you're not specifically promoting it, you're keeping the church top of mind. You keep the church top of mind, they're going to go online and see what's going on at the church. All right, the last one is event sources. Now, this one is very complicated. It's a little tough to do. It's one of the things we're going to cover in our Definitive Church Marketing Method coaching program we're going to launch in January. But event sources. Now, there's a really cool thing that Google's doing. In fact, you can, let me see if I can pull it up on my computer right here real quick. North Houston Christmas events. And I'm going to share my screen. Instagram Live's not going to see it. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I just searched North Houston Christmas events All right. Now look at what I get. First of all, I get sponsored posts. This is Google Ads, which you can run if you're prepared enough. You can run with your Google Ad Grant. All right. But what's right underneath that? This nice little events widget. And if you're listening audio only, I apologize. But if you scroll down, you can do this on your own. Just search Christmas events in your town. You'll see events. Now, this little events widget here is automatically generated. What it's doing is Google is going out to the internet and they're scraping websites for information. If they see the right combination of information, which we call schema, all right, I don't even know how it works. It's just code that gets put in. If they see the right combination of data on a web page, they will recognize that it's an event and they will pull the information, the name, the date, the location, the address, an image, and they will put it right here on Google search. Meaning, once again, like we always teach about your testimonies inside of online reviews, you don't need people to click through to your website to see information about your church. They can see it right there in the Google listing. Okay. So with a little bit of intentionality and preparedness, because if you put it up now, Google's probably not going to scrape your site fast enough before it's up. But if you do, with some intentionality, even some basic information, if you just put that information in there, even without the schema, you have a chance of getting on here. All right. Not only that, you need to look at local blogs, because if you scroll down, you'll see other things that show up here. Holiday in Houston, visit HoustonTexas.com. MommyPoppins.com, right? This is a North Houston influencer. Jill B. Jarvis, Greater Houston Moms. That's a great one, by the way. All these blogs, they're showing up before the news sites. Okay. So don't think that you gotta have all your ducks in a row for the news, because even then people won't see it. Okay. But if you can network and connect with these bloggers, even maybe the tiny ones in your congregation, and get your event on their blog, well, they've got high authority. So Google can recommend what they recommend, your church. This is the kind of thinking kind of outside the box that we need to do nowadays, because this is what everyone else is doing. Remember, the whole point of embracing this marketing revolution is to go where attention already is, seize that attention, and point it to Christ. And if we don't go where that attention is, we won't get any interest. And if we don't get any interest, which by the way, interest could be, yeah, I'm interested, or no, I'm interested. Any amount of interest is good interest. Okay. It's kind of like publicity. So any interest is good interest. So even if they see you and say, I'm not interested, at least they saw you. They'll remember you next time there might be interest. There's something to follow up with, even if they're not interested. Okay. If they don't get interest, then they can't go to you. Again, they don't know you, they don't go to you. And they're not going to give you their attention for free. There's a reason why we have to pay attention. You got to earn it. And to earn it, you got to go get it. All right. A couple other things I'll mention, just because this video is already getting a little long. Google business profile, post to your Google business profile, post to your Facebook. You can create an event if you want. And not only that, post multiple times. Okay. Wherever you put it multiple times. If you have it on your events page, if you have like an events page of your upcoming events, make a web page for it. Put a little announcement bar, put a pop-up. Put it on your Facebook page, Instagram page, put it multiple times. Just because you posted it once doesn't mean it was seen by everyone. Post it in the morning, post it a few days later in the evening, post it once as an image, post it once as a video. Okay. Because if you want to be seen, you got to do whatever it takes, and doing whatever it takes, meaning you got to do it a couple times. Okay. Imagine if you just got up as a pastor and said, I'm the pastor of this church. I'm going to preach the sermon, and then I'm never going to preach it again. In fact, I'm never going to preach again, because we've talked about this, right? How many times have you well, we talked about that last year in the Romans series, and they're like, bro, I don't even remember what you preached last week. People need repetition. They need reminders. This is why an important part of our definitive church marketing method is called Be Seen. It's creating engaging social media advertisements. Because by the way, pastor, church leader, if you didn't already know this, if you didn't check your analytics, when you just do a regular Facebook post, 3 to 5, if you're lucky, more than 5%, but usually 3 to 5% of your following is going to see that post. So if 1,000 people follow you, only 30 to 50 people are going to actually see that post. So I'm talking about, post it multiple times. Maybe you'll get a different set of 30, 50 people. But the best way to make sure it's seen is to just pay for it. Okay. And if it's a video, you can get it real cheap. If it's a basic post, maybe just hey, send us a message if you want to come, send us a message if you have any questions, you can get it done even cheaper. But you got to pay to be seen, and Facebook is one of the cheapest ways to do it. And if you want us to do it for you, NavaChurchMarketing.com. Give us a call, 832-861-7654. We can talk about what that looks like. But also remember, whether you do events on your page, whether you even do it right, and it shows up in Google, whether you do your Facebook ads, whether you do your Instagram, whatever, all roads are going to lead to your website. So you have to make sure your website is good.